Hi there, I'm here with Mr. David Best. Best graduated high school in 1995 and then went on to work for a contract cleaning company before starting classes here at Concordia University, Chicago in August of 2006. David, you are originally from Peoria, Illinois, which is about 2.5 hours away from Chicago, central part of the state. What were some of your hobbies as a kid growing up?
I was always actively involved in music, obviously. That's kind of the reason I'm here in the first place. I started taking piano lessons when I was 5 years old, and I've been playing a little bit of this, that, and the other ever since. I've got two older brothers that are pretty close to me in age, and so I was always very active outdoors, and at the risk of kind of dating myself a little bit, my years growing up were quite a bit before the big video game boom. And so, we actually, we went outside and we made up our own games and, just had some of the best times that you could ever ask for. And, obviously getting into trouble and figuring out what you can get away with mom and dad and what you can't, and getting into trouble and then going out and doing it again anyways and all that good stuff. And so, lots of fun stuff. I was very actively involved in my church's music program. I've been a handbell player for 20 years. I started in 4th grade, and so, pretty much just music and playtime. I played some sports. I played soccer a little bit as a kid growing up, and then I also played basketball in grade school a little bit. So, not anything too terribly competitive, but at the same time, just something to do and have a good time and getting some exercise, all that fun stuff.
After graduating high school, as I mentioned earlier, you became part of a contract cleaning company. What sort of motivated you to decide to get a job with the company that you did?
Well, I had just started out with community college, and I had never had a real job in my life because my high school activities really kept me from getting a job after I turned 16 because I was just busy with stuff all the time. And so once I started community college, I was getting at the point where, I really got to start getting some cash flow going on and start supporting myself a little bit. And so the cleaning company that I started working for actually cleaned the church and the school, my home church and then the grade school that's attached. And so my mom, talked to the lady that was running it and kind of got me hooked up with the job there. And nothing really attracted me to it one way or the other. It was just, I went and did an interview, and she paid pretty well. It was, certainly a lot better than going out to McDonald's and flipping burgers, which I can't imagine doing.
Definitely.
And so, but after a couple of years on the job, I really kind of started to relish, going in and doing some good work, and I started moving up through the company and really gained, it was some 11 years of very hard work, but I gained a lot of nice skills that I could fall back on, and really using my personal life, just with we could talk about that for 5 days, the things that I know how to do, but just a lot of really good skills, and keeping a clean house, and just some fun stuff like that.
What paths did you have to go down to ultimately decide to come back to college?
Well, it was Concordia's Careers for Christ program that ultimately was the factor deciding everything. There's a little bit of a longer story that I was actually 5 weeks away from getting married, and then some things fell through.
Oh, wow.
And some personal stuff came up, and it was obvious at the time that it wasn't right for either one of us, and quite frankly, God saved us both from what would have been a really big mistake. And so about a year after that, there was a couple of girls from my church that wanted to come up to the Careers for Christ program, and just find out about the university, and they needed a chaperone, and so they called me up, and I agreed, said, hey, sure, no problem. And so I kind of ended up just tagging along with them and finding out about some of the programs. And so when I found out about the parish music program, I didn't realize that the Lutheran Church had a professional church musician program, which just really, really, really interested me. And so I got, the papers and looked at programs and stuff and kind of put that on the back burner. And then later on that year, I was off of work for about 3 months for knee surgery. And so at the time, I didn't really have anything else to do, and I started filling out the paperwork and sending it in. I thought, I'd just see what happens. And God's just thrown open every door and has made it clear that this is where I need to be. And so here I am.
If you could go back and sort of redo one part of your life, or maybe a decision you've made or someplace you've gone, what would you go back and sort of do a little bit differently?
I probably would have done better in college the first time around because I wouldn't be as behind. I'm 30 years old and I'm a college sophomore, so here I am. But I would have paid a little bit more attention, at least gone through and gotten the associate's degree. And chances are I may have gone ahead and stayed on with the cleaning service. I kind of think of what I'm doing now, and I should have done it earlier. But at the same time, I look at where I am right now, and how much I enjoy life, and how much I love being at this school, and just people like you and the rest of the guys on the floor that just keep me young and keep me sharp and make fun of my age and all that good stuff. I can't really imagine being at a better place in my life right now. So, are there things that I could have done differently? Absolutely. But at the same time, I look at where I am right now and I have absolutely no regrets.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
And I have to say, I am proud to have you as a resident assistant.
I am proud to have you as a resident. You're a good guy.